Coming at you live on this sunny side, summer Thursday. This is the CHGO Bears Podcast Training Camp Edition. Visit sunnyside.shop and use code HICHGO for 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders. What's up, Bears fans? It was it was a very sunny side Thursday out there at Hall today. It was also Red Zone Thursday with some mixed results from the offense. Pads going on tomorrow. We are jacked up. There was a beautiful punt we need to discuss. Special teams matters. Adam Hoge, Mark Carman, Nicholas Moreano with you. What's going on, boys?
I will go to bed tonight, team. And my last thoughts about the Bears today will be the dart with a little bit of loft into the left corner of the end zone, caught by Velus. Number 12 has never looked so good on a beautiful touch with some juice on it pass from Caleb. I know we'll get into all of everything today, but we did see a bunch of moments for me today that underlines why there is, this new quarterback on the Bears that was drafted number 1 overall.
Uh-oh.
Am I the only one that can't hear, Nick? Because
no,
well, I was muted, but now I'm unmuted. But it was a nice throw, but I think things kind of changed when the trenches got involved there.
They did
for the offense, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we also want to make sure you know CHGO Bears training camp coverage, always presented by Ray Chevrolet. Shop the Freedom to Save sales event all month long by visiting Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or raychevrolet.com. Serving the community since 1963. Together, let's drive. We're going to get to best and worst.
Yeah,
we were having a discussion right before the show, though. I think we need the viewers to rate our hat hair today. I mean, Carm went with the water edition right before the show. I went no water.
I didn't wear a hat.
Nick went hatless today. Carm looked like he was going on a safari with his hat.
So, I mean, let's be honest here, team. No one has had a better training camp look than me. I up-leveled. You guys have stayed the same as I remember you last year. I went out and got the $14.99 golf hat at Nordstrom Rack, and I think it has taken my game to the next level. And then I come in here, and straight Pat Riley in his prime. That's for the old hats out there. I'm not sure what the new reference would be. Nick's making a move here into some hat that he's going to break out that he's already had. It wasn't an upper level, and he's not just going to be able to compete. Yeah, I mean, and also that's
1, 2. I already have 1 at Hallis Hall. Like, come on, get on the level. Finally, you're at the level, Mark. That's good. For
those of the listening to the podcast and can't see the video, Carm's
Nick
bragging about. What do we call that? A floppy hat? What do we call that?
No. It is a
sun hat.
It is
George McCaskey hat.
No, it's a hat that works in the Amazon. I could kill a snake with that hat, and I can cover the Bears with that hat. That hat, there's a camouflage element to it. There's a cool element to it. Everything about me is hip. All right, but we can do that later. Why don't we do best and worst, Hoge? Why don't you start, buddy? Because you got to spend a lot of time with me today, so I hope I didn't ruin your viewing experience. Hoge and I were in the corner doing a solid podcast that could have gotten huge ratings, but it wasn't, unfortunately, broadcast to anyone. Any rate, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, if anybody's interested in a media pod, I think that would be a pretty good episode. This is a short practice again today, guys. I thought, I'm pretty sure, because I was informed at Hallis the other day that today was the day they could have gone longer by CBA rules. Coming back off the off day, though, they just kind of went red zone, couple situational things a little bit too. So it was shorter than I anticipated, but tomorrow sounds like a real training camp practice with pads on. Yeah, real football. Finally, Braggs will be there in the stands. We can get going with actual training camp. We're all excited. The best, though, come on, guys. I'm gonna let you guys break down your red zone stuff and your Caleb Williams, number 18. Everybody talks about Caleb, all that cool stuff. Tory Taylor had a great punt today, boys. It's about time. Look, we hit the over on this. You would have predicted that I went best Tory Taylor probably day 2 of camp. It's been a week now. Report day was last Friday. It is taken till Thursday, July 25th, for me to do this. But there was a situational moment after the offense stalled. They sent the punt team on. Tory Taylor, you're talking darts with Caleb. This was a dart that landed at the 5, downed at the 6. New weapon the Bears have. Get excited. That was the best of training camp today.
Nick, did you even notice that play? Because I certainly did not. I was bummed that the offense had not succeeded. I was like, I literally paid zero attention. With all due respect, that I probably should have been paying attention, but I didn't. Did you?
I do have, so interesting. I do have that play in my notes, but I don't know if maybe Tory did have one, but I also have Corlius Waitman with a down punt inside of the 10 after a team period. So punter speculation. I don't know. I don't know. But yes, I did see a really nice punt.
In my notes, I have Waitman nearly killing the Hard Knocks crew with one of his punts, which the guy
I did see that one. I did see that one.
You did have that in your notes.
The Hard Knocks crew was walking across the backfield. Waitman was working on his game. The thing was 7,000 miles up in the air. It came down like it's far away from us, but maybe a yard from Hard Knocks. They nearly died. What's your worst, Hoge? What do you got?
Well, first of all, I mean, I'm certainly open to the possibility that I missed something and have the wrong punter here. I don't think I do, but for the record, Adam Johns at 11:31 a.m. tweeting after the Bears offense went 3 and out in the first situational drill, rookie punter Tory Taylor did land a punt inside the 5 that was down at the 6. So that's my second source beyond my own eyes.
I don't fight you on special team stuff. I trust your eyes on that. I might quibble with the quarterback every now and then, or perhaps something else. But we're gonna trust that. I'm not going down any road where I don't trust your special.
Well,
teams.
in all seriousness, sometimes our viewing angles here, I do question my own eyes. Sometimes, did I see the right number? Am I looking at the right thing?
You get distracted with you look over one way for a second. It's like boom, the punter. Both can be reality.
Alex Shapiro asked me today, who had a penalty when the offense had a false start. I was like, I don't know. The offense did.
Sure,
the guy, that guy on the offense did. I don't know. They threw a flag and somebody did something. Worse though. So, and I know you guys are gonna get this probably in some of your best. So it went 7-on-7. Results were solid, but as soon as they went to the team stuff in red zone, everything tightened up. Matt Eberflus talked about it today, said, things are shorter in the red zone. It's condensed, harder to execute down there. Windows are tighter. So once they got in the team, he said it was more fast paced. You could feel the rush, and it's just going through the process of that. So that's all true. However, they better get it figured out because those are the money areas of the field, and you do want to score touchdowns. And we saw in practice the other day too, nice 2-minute drill, but they got down there to the 7-yard line. All of a sudden things tightened up and they weren't able to get in the end zone. So this is obviously something they got to work through, and they have time to do so before we get to September. So far, the defense has been getting the best of the offense in the red zone when they get in the full 11-on-11 team stuff.
Yeah. No arguments from me. By the way, shout out to Charlie the Bacon Guy who's here. I'd like to apologize to Charlie the Bacon Guy for softball losing this week. I was, of course, trying out to be a U.S. Open ball boy, and it was Nick's fault. Speaking of that, Nick, what's your best and worst? Nick didn't
have a better day. Not gonna lie.
Apparently, nobody on the team hit. The season that I said would go undefeated, we've lost 2, but we lost 2 last year and won the whole damn thing. Back to Bears football. Nick, best and worst.
Yeah, the best was the 7-on-7 period. If you're looking at it from an offensive angle, it started off with a quick carry to Keenan Allen. TJ Edwards tried to dive to break up the pass, but Keenan caught it and then kind of high stepped into the end zone to start things off. There's a nice corner route that DeAndre Swift ran in the back left corner, and Jaquan Brisker couldn't get over there. And it was a nice pass by Caleb Williams. And then the one play you were talking about, Carm, where It's Jalen Johnson underneath coverage, Velus Jones Jr. is going over to that back left portion of the end zone. It's just a perfectly thrown football and a good catch by Velus to concentrate, catch the ball, not bobble it, and score for the offense. So I really liked how things started in the 7-on-7s. When they went to the team period, I mean, there was everything you didn't want to see kind of showed up in mini spurts. Like there were even some false start penalties, and Flus was asked about that. He said there was a couple in there. Noise was up, and that's part of the process. Like if noise is creating that much of an issue, like obviously that's another area to work on. But there's a play where Montez Sweat knocked out the football. DeMarcus Walker picks it up out of Caleb's hands. They couldn't score. Only 5 players caught a pass in 5 team periods. Trace Swift, Travis Homer, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, and Roma Dunze. That was it. 5 completions, 5 team periods. Obviously, that needs to improve. And maybe it will when the pads actually come on and the offensive line has more of a chance to block the defensive line.
Right. Pads coming on tomorrow. Bragg's there. That's all that matters. But I guess I can jump into my best and worst off of yours, Nick, look, I get it. It wasn't the most difficult throw in the history of football, but the Caleb pass to Velus, I haven't seen Velus Jones look that good catching the football in his entire Bears career, not to overstate it. When he was a rookie, he would be backpedaling and looking awkward as hell. And I'm not saying this means anything as Velus as a receiver, but it did not look like you would expect a wide receiver of the NFL to look. This one looked normal. He was in control. He was open. It was a beautiful throw from Caleb. It looked like NFL football. It was just, I was really enjoying that moment in time. And also, I think added on to it because before that, he had already thrown a touchdown pass to Keenan Allen. He had thrown another one to DeAndre Swift. So like the momentum's building, and then he fires this beauty to Velus. I'm like, wow. Okay, this feels a little bit different. Now, the other side to the worst is when it felt a whole lot similar. Defense ahead of the offense late. Caleb holding the ball. Montez Sweat getting a piece of it. DeMarcus Walker, pouncing on it. Just a lot. This is a recurring theme in every practice, as far as I can tell, where the defense ramps up a little bit, the offense bogs down, the ball's getting held, and Caleb is in that pocket too long, and it just shows like the learning curve that he's still on. Which, by the way, I enjoy it because it seems to me. Correct me if I'm wrong, head coach Hoge, but Flus has talked about we're going to show him a lot. We are going to try to confuse him, and that's exactly what they should be doing because they're trying to get him ready to play week 1. So to me, that's evidence that they actually are doing it. Because if it was just simple for him right now, I feel like he has master's a little tall, but he has got the simple down. Once they're ramping it up, they're not quite there yet, which again expected July 25th, but it was on display again today.
Yeah, I still, have zero glaring concerns coming out of Caleb. I mean, this is really the first time I feel like in a week that we're even talking about any type of concerns with the offense not executing at all consistently. There's been periods here and there. There was a good stand by the defense the other day. This seems to be like the first time anything sort of stacking up from multiple days, being like, okay, this is starting to be a little bit of a trend, but it's still so early on. And, again, the pads haven't been on. Let's see what it all looks like tomorrow. But we also know how good this defense is. So in tight spaces, especially when the pads aren't on and certain things are limited, like the run game is really not real at all. They're probably going to have a certain edge to things. Now, the Velus thing, I agree with everything you said. However, I thought live he was out of bounds.
No way.
The referee had a much better look than I did, and he was right there. I thought the second foot was out. Now, maybe that was his third foot, but I thought he was out of bounds. I'd love to see a replay. If I was the defense, I would have challenged it.
New Hoge segment. It's called #Hoge Nitpick. No one thought he was out of bounds there other than Hoge. No way was he out of bounds.
Ryan Poles was right there too. Ryan Poles was watching that entire period from the end zone view. So, I mean, if anybody had a great vantage point of it or the best vantage point, it was Ryan Poles. And I think he seemed pleased with how the play resulted.
Yeah.
By the way, shout out to 3 new diehards in the house with us. These were brought to my attention just here a moments ago. Max, Steven, and Marcus all on board. Ready to
Freaking
go.
elite combo. Max, Steven, Marcus. Personal shout outs coming at another later time, but we appreciate it. We love you. Become a diehard. Get the elite content that we're putting out. I'm writing my 3 things after the show today. Hoge's newsletter's been. I mean, when you wake up in the morning and Hoge's newsletter greets you, it's better than a fresh cup of coffee. It's better than a fresh squeezed orange juice that we couldn't get last year wherever we were. And this show made fun of me for wanting fresh squeezed orange juice. It's a great way to start your day. Can I do a side note?
No,
real fast here.
No, you cannot. We need to take a break.
Yeah, I was looking at the clock as I started it, and it is time. So I will save an amazing side note from today until after this fine acknowledgement of the awesome people that make this possible.
Well, don't go anywhere because we got linebacker, defensive end, I should say, Jacob Martin joining us on the show here momentarily as well. First, we got to thank our friends at Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary because they are here to elevate your summer, especially on this Sunnyside Thursday. Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping. They have a crazy selection with over 100 different strains to choose from with easy online ordering and in-store pickup. Stop in the store nearest you throughout Illinois for expert guidance from their staff or select from quality lines like Cresco or Florical. You can check out the Good News Tea Time disposable vape, bringing classic lemonade flavor that is perfect for the course because we all need a little help staying loose on the green. Definitely needed that on Monday at the CHGO golf outing. Visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Bright buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders.
Guys, now that we are in the thick of summer, you might be looking for wholesome, convenient meals to support sunny, active days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit, can help you fuel up with fast, flavorful, and nutritious ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track to reaching your goals. Look, we all get busy, and there are times when you just don't have the time to cook. With Factor, skip the extra trip to the grocery store and the chopping, prepping, and cleaning up too, while still getting the flavor and nutritional quality you need. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are ready in just 2 minutes. So all you have to do is really eat and enjoy and get back to your busy day. And look, just the other day, I had the black pepper and sage pork chop with smoked cheddar Brussels sprouts and creamy broccoli. Straight up delicious, 25 or 45 grams of protein. Perfect meal for whatever you're doing that day. And this July, get Factor and enjoy eating well without the hassle. Simply choose your meals and enjoy fresh, flavor-packed meals delivered to your door, ready in just 2 minutes. No prep, no mess. So head to factormeals.com/CHGO Bears and use the code CHGO Bears to get 50% off. That's code CHGO Bears at factormeals.com/CHGO Bears to get 50% off.
Straight up delicious. Love our friends at Factor. My side note, and I'm actually going to quick trivia for you guys. It's really not trivia. Quick opinion. Who stood out at the podium today for you guys? Anyone?
Jonathan Owens.
Jonathan Owens.
So Jonathan Owens was phenomenal, especially talking about his wife, Simone Biles, and how great the Bears were, first-class organization, and how he's nervous watching her and the incredible opportunity, incredibly likable. But I thought that Gerald Everett, because that was at least the first time that I got this, it was in the room with him talking. That dude came across to me so well as far as his level-headed, felt like just a winner, great guy in that locker room, and it kind of underlined to me why Ryan Poles, who's been very big on bringing in talented people, but also like just good, solid teammates into that locker room. Gerald Everett, I think, it's felt like a great fit to what's going to be just hearing from him extensively the first time today.
And Mark,
was that
you
your
asked him the
tidbit
question
before the break?
That was my tidbit. I fell in love with Gerald. I fell in love with Gerald Everett. Guy was solid.
You asked him too about why he wanted to come here, right? What was appealing? That was your question.
Yeah,
Mark? Then he said the potential. Like it was just a 2-word answer, but the potential for sure and what they're trying to do, turning things around. So the people from the outside, those players coming into this situation that the Bears are in now, like players saw it, and that's why a guy like Gerald Everett, money too, is ultimately why he's here.
Yeah, I mean, dollars factor in, but that was interesting. Did you guys think yours truly asked a phenomenal question, El Flus, when I asked will they be making a decision on if Caleb's playing in the Hall of Fame game, or did you think that did not need to be asked because he's just not going to play, and that's the deal? We had lengthy conversations about it. We'll make a good decision here soon, is what the Flus had to say. To me, it seems like they are at least debating it.
He said they were talking to the coordinators more about it and talking to Ryan Poles about it too.
Your left tackle's not even practicing in team reps. Like Braxton, I know he's saying that right now at the podium, but I doubt we see Caleb.
Hoge?
I still think like a couple handoffs and in and out of the huddle and getting the cadence. I think that I think right. And I don't know. I might change by 5:00 tonight when I think about it, but
right now you're betting yes. If you had to bet that fine T-shirt, something matters. You just told us what it is. Special teams, something.
Every yard matters, Carm. Every yard.
Whatever.
If you need to take it deeper into your life, that's how we treat things at Carmel. But you might want to think about it in your life, that every yard matters.
Yeah, I don't no argue it. You're absolutely right. Every yard does matter. If you try to nitpick what you're good at and what you're not good at, you're gonna get picked apart. Put that on a T-shirt.
And every second of this show matters. And right now we're running out of time to get this interview in. So I'm going to toss to it because Nicholas Moreano talked to Jacob Martin. We had a conversation about Jacob Martin the other day. He's flashed a little bit early on in camp, granted without pads. We get it. And it sparked some discussion in, the chat. People seemed intrigued by who this guy is. So Nick tracked him down and talked to him today at Hal's Hall.
What's going on, everybody? I'm here with Jacob Martin, Bears defensive lineman. I just want to know, before we get into real football talk, what's this offseason been like for you? What would you say the highlight has been for you?
Oh, man, I would say hanging out with my brother in Switzerland. We had opportunity to play in the Celebrity Ryder Cup in St. Moritz, so that was cool.
I mean, that's can you explain exactly, to people who don't even know that, how was that experience?
It was out of this world, man. So this was our second time doing it in Switzerland. Last year it was in Morocco, but I just had surgery that off season, so set out of that. But it was super cool, man. Great people. It's a lot of former athletes. Former servicemen, long drive, competitors and things like that. So it was an opportunity to meet people, network, get better at golf, and play some rounds in Switzerland, so it's cool.
Well, I was just about to ask you, outside of, football, what are some of your hobbies? Obviously golf being one of them, but what else do you like to do when you're not, really ingrained in all the football stuff? What do you like to do?
Golfing, obviously, animals. I'm big on animals, whether it be dogs or, conservation efforts with the zoo and things like that. And I love to cook, so.
What's your favorite dish? If someone's coming over and you're cooking up stuff, what's the dish that you're gonna make?
Probably lamb shank, and some sort of blueberry or blackberry demi glaze or something like that. And either I haven't perfected my sweet potato and gnocchi, but some sort of sweet potato puree or something like that.
Wow, I need to learn how to cook. But just you saying that stuff, that's awesome, man. Now kind of transitioning a little bit to the football stuff. You played 1 year under Lovie Smith, and that type of defense is very similar to what you're kind of going into here in Chicago your first year. What do you like about that scheme and what it can allow you to do as a player?
I think it takes the thinking out of football. It allows you to play fast. It allows your personality to show in your play. You can be physical, you can be violent at the point, and then when it's time to rush the passer, you're already there. You're already 2 steps into that pass rush, with the emphasis here is getting off the ball. You can get off the ball, everything else will be there for you. So those are the similarities I see in this front. And then they also mix in a lot of things where there's some movement, so it allows you to show off that quickness and agility, things like that.
Jake, I've seen some of the quickness from you, just kind of dipping under Darnell Wright for a couple reps. For you as a pass rusher, what would you say are your strengths when it comes to the football field?
Speed, man. I'm not the biggest guy. I'm only 245 pounds, man. So, speed, man. Speed is how I set everything else up. Speed can translate to my power. Speed can translate to my, in and outs. My out and outs. My inside moves. Yeah. Running games with the other guys. Speed, for sure.
Gotcha. And Jacob, you had an opportunity. You were practicing against a rookie, C.J. Stroud, for the Houston Texans 22. Do you see any similarities between what he did in Caleb?
Most definitely. When I spent my time in that camp with CJ down in Houston last offseason, I was super impressed. Just how his ability to handle himself, how his interactions with guys in the locker room. I would say identical similarities with CJ that you see here with Caleb. He's a guy's guy. He's a football guy, football first. He's a good teammate, man. And that's what you want. You want someone that's coming in with a level head, understands the task at hand, and can go out there and perform, man. And I would say he's handling himself well. He's handling his pressure well. He's a pro.
Jacob, does that kind of get you excited? I mean, we saw the year that CJ had and all the talent that's here and kind of the expectations, the vibes are really around the house. Does that get you a little excited for what possibly can be an outcome?
Yeah, most definitely. I'm excited for the offense and the talent that they have over there, and just the vets around Caleb right now. I think that's super important. With Mercedes here, that dude's played football. He's probably played longer than some guys or age. You know what I mean? So, and then just the wide receivers on the outside. Just that room is very competitive. A lot of talent in that room. Guys that have played a lot of football, won a lot of games, and been in a lot of big moments. So, I think that's super important for his development and for this team to be good for sure.
No doubt. And Jacob, Eric Washington spoke highly of you in his last press conference, calling you a 3-down player. What about your skill set do you think best represents why you can be a 3-down player in this defense?
Hey, man, whatever the job is needed. I try to pride myself on doing what is asked at the best of my ability. I'm super competitive. I like to win everything, whether it's ping pong in the locker room or, NCAA in the hotel. You know what I mean? So trying to compete in all aspects of my game.
Gotcha. And are you playing the new college football game, taking Temple to the national championship?
Yeah, that's my road to glory right now.
Okay.
It's my road to glory. We're working on it.
Gotcha. And one last question for you. I know that your sack celebration, you like to bring out the guitar. What's the genesis of that? And should Bears fans expect to see that, when you get a sack?
There's a whole lot of that, man. That's my plan, to bring the guitar back, I started down in Houston with Whitney Merciless, Brandon Scarlett, J.J. Watt, Bernard McKinney, Zach Cunningham, John Grenard. We call ourselves the Rock Boys. Just trying to play ball, man. Out there rocking out, and sometimes you got to take yourself to that persona of a rock star, man. And that's what I tried to embody, to envision. I like to see myself as a Jimi Hendrix type, shredding the guitar type of thing. That's my I would say that's like my spirit animal for sure.
Gotcha. Well, Jacob, really appreciate the time. As usual, you can follow CHGO Bears for all the best coverage.
Thank you.
Dude, awesome, man. Appreciate the time.
Appreciate you, brother.
No, it's been fun watching you out there, especially just when you mix in with the ones and things like that.
All right, there it is. Nicholas Moreano. Jimi Hendrix. I love it. How can you not love that? Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Nate. So the year under Lovie Smith that you were referring to, that he talked about, that would have been the year he was the defensive coordinator before he became the head coach, I think, 2021. And that was 4 sacks, his most productive season so far.
Yeah, he had career highs in sacks, TFLs, tackles, and obviously in a very similar scheme that what he's playing now with Eberflus in Washington. So attacking, right? That's what we've kind of heard of, like what these defensive ends are obviously being asked to do. So Jacob Martin's been getting after you guys, and there are a couple reps he's flashed in these practices. And I'm noticing too, when it's those obvious passing down situations, you guys, in my notes at least, I'm seeing right now Jacob Martin on the outside opposite of Sweat. DeMarcus Walker's kicking inside next to Javon Dexter. So you're kind of seeing that those 4 kind of go out there when it's more of those obvious passing down situations for Martin, who is a little undersized. If he's just asked to go get the quarterback, that's exactly what his skill set, his strengths are as a football player right now.
I want to touch a little bit more on Jacob Martin here in a second, but especially on that size thing, watching that interview. But first, make sure you choose Ray Chevrolet as your first draft pick and find the right new Chevy and price for you. Visit our partner this July to shop the Freedom to Save sales event going on all month long at their location on Route 12 in Fox Lake or at raychevrolet.com. As one of the top selling Chevy dealers in the Midwest, you'll always be able to shop one of Chicagoland's largest Chevy inventories. Plus, find the perfect tailgate vehicle right now. Get $12,000 off MSRP on a new 2024 Chevy Silverado, or lease the new 2024 Chevy Trax for only $188 a month for 24 months. Or you can cruise into July your own way. Shop over 125 of their vehicles priced under $20,000. If you've heard of Ray Chevrolet, and you've also heard of Ray's Price Promise, their guarantee to make your next vehicle more affordable than ever with no price changing, no add-ons, and no hidden fees ever. That means the incredible prices we're talking about now, you can expect to see the very same when you shop Ray Chevrolet in store or online. Shop the Freedom to Save sales event all month long by visiting Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or raychevrolet.com. They've been serving the community since 1963. Together, let's drive.
I love my Ray Chevrolet Chevy Trax. It's getting easier, team, for businesses to switch to electric vehicles. That's something we can all get behind. It's for the health of the planet and for the well-being of all of us who share it.
That's right, Mark. The electric grid is evolving to meet your cleaner energy needs as we all move with confidence toward an electric tomorrow. Whether you have one delivery van or a whole fleet of shipping trucks, ComEd can help guide you to make the changes that make sense.
So what should business owners do, Nick?
They can go to ComEd.com/clean to learn more about the resources, fleet rebates, and infrastructure incentives available to help businesses go electric. If you own a business, don't wait. Start making your plan to switch to electric vehicles. Good for business, good for the planet, good for all of us. Go to ComEd.com/clean.
Sounds like a plan. Did you say ComEd.com/clean?
I sure did. So go now and see how going electric connects us to a better way of doing business and a better future for generations to come.
And if you're a suffering White Sox fan like myself and Steven, who pretty much can only root for players that are no longer here, congrats to Dylan Cease for throwing a no-hitter today. He just finished off a no-hitter against the Nationals, and good for him.
Hell yeah.
Maybe Garrett Crochet could do the same thing for the Dodgers. Maybe Luis Robert maybe he could win a batting title for, I don't know, the Yankees or someone.
Be great.
Maybe go for the Triple Crown. Didn't they have a great rebuild over there? Like they were gonna win multiple championships. So like Rick Hahn talking about not just one but like 7.
Let's not talk about that name on the show, please.
Yeah.
Dylan Cease is a cool guy. I saw Dylan Cease earlier this year when the Padres played the Brewers. I think, the Padres won that game. Of course they did, because Dylan Cease was pitching for them. Of course they did. Not pitching for the White Sox.
And didn't they get a Buick, as the Catman once called it? Wasn't Hoge Quintana traded for that guy that just threw a no-hitter?
I don't. Whatever. I'm out. That's enough baseball. It's as much baseball as I've thought about in 3 months. I promise you. Okay. Jacob Martin. I couldn't help but notice, Nick. I love you, Nick, but you're not the tallest guy ever. And seeing him next to you, I was like, kind of expected him to be towering over Nick a little bit more than he was. Other than that, I loved everything he had to say. Fascinating guy. He's doing celebrity writer cups in Switzerland.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be more jealous of that. I hope to God we see a Jimi Hendrix guitar sax celebration, because that sounds really, really cool. Reminds me of like Willie Young's fishing sax celebration.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of the best. So, man, good job by you getting that stuff out. But slightly worried about the height, I guess, for a 4-3 defensive end.
And he's 240, 245. I mean, that's not that. Look, he's not the ideal defensive end in this system. It really isn't when you look at what they typically have there. Look at Montez Sweat on the opposite side, completely different body type. I like he said that he sees the similarities between him and CJ Stroud in terms of just like how they approach the situation. And right after the training camp period that he had with the Houston Texans, he actually got cut there. So he saw CJ before he really blew up to become the quarterback that he did, but he saw what it looked like in training camp.
if I can decode that answer just a little bit, like, let's be honest, the way that was teed up, it's like, well, of course I'm going to say something nice about my quarterback, but he almost jumped on you. Like, he was like, yeah, for sure. No, definitely. I see some similarities there. Like, he seemed to enthusiastically agree with the line of questioning that was coming his way. So that did seem genuine.
Yeah, no doubt. I thought that was interesting. Like, I didn't finish, and then boom, I'm like, all right, that's a good sign. Obviously, he knows what a quarterback who's had a good season could look like in training camp, being with CJ, and we'll see. There's still plenty more for Caleb to play in this training camp.
And that, by the way, takes you full circle to the amazing Gerald Everett today, and literally anybody else that you talk to around the Bears. How's Caleb? Caleb's great. Caleb's a great teammate. Caleb is phenomenal in the room. Caleb is not a diva. Caleb is not a prima donna. I mean, it is echoing from all corners of that locker room. So it is kind of interesting to rewind back, right, and be like, how did this narrative get pushed so hard that this is some dude who is, very into himself and not, he's not going to be good with the media and everything else that was out there. It's kind of amazing, really.
Yeah. Steven, can you put that back up? The quote from Gerald Everett, he said he's got great poise. His pocket presence is phenomenal. I don't see why it wouldn't translate to this level. That's Gerald Everett talking about Caleb Williams.
Yeah, speaking of Hoge, Nick, Pittsburgh, Justin, Russell hurt, throwing dimes. I don't know if you were going to transition like that, Hoge, but we're in the quarterback room here.
Yeah, I guess we can. That was not where I was transitioning, but
where were you going?
Let's hit on a couple things here, okay? Before it's in there, what's going on with Justin Fields towards the bottom of the show. We will get to that. A couple things that I still want to talk about practice a little bit and talk about Jonathan Owens here. A little bit more specifics on what was going on in the low red zone in the 7-on-7. First of all, it's not like it was terrible. The 7-on-7s was actually pretty good. As we touched in off the top of the show, we saw touchdowns to Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift, and Velus Jones. Carm calling it the greatest catch in Velus Jones' entire life. However, there were two late throws. One that even Carm goes, that was late. I think he actually completed it to Rome Odunze. The second one nearly sent 3 Chicago Bears players to the hospital. That one worried me a little bit because it was like right up the seam and it was late and you had 2 defenders, one being Jack Sanborn. And I thought there was going to be a giant collision with 3 guys not wearing pads and the Bears were going to be without 3 players for the year. Fortunately, everybody was okay. So that speaks to sort of the ups and downs of the low red zone work that they were doing, even on 7-on-7s. But I do think that was pretty good for the offense. We did see pass breakups, Sanborn getting the pass breakup on that one. And then I believe Jalen Johnson also had a PBU in the end zone too.
The play where the entire Bears nearly died, it does speak to the level of competitiveness that's out there every day. Because it was a late throw, and they did have a chance to pick it. And after balls that are getting knocked down and or picked or just a stop period, however you want to, break it down, Jaquan Brisker's out there doing the no-fly zone. There's a lot of chirping going on out there. And so the competitiveness that you're seeing on the field each day is real. They are not and it would be horrible if it was the other way, but they are not like tiptoeing their way through the tulips through practice. This is some good, solid competition out there. I said it the other day that this looks like a hungry Bears team, and Hoge responded on Twitter saying, "I'm hungry." But that it does. You see it, and you saw it on that play.
Yeah, and like even the competition between like individual matchups, there was one rep where Rome Odunze goes deep. And Caleb's trying to target him, but Tyreek Stevenson blatantly holds on Rome. But then the very next or a couple reps later, Tyreek Stevenson's in perfect coverage on Rome Odunze. So, and he was speaking to that in his press conference, just how the different receivers, Keenan, DJ, and Rome's, Tyler Scotty put up there, just present different challenges for a guy like Tyreek Stevenson. But you're seeing that competitiveness on all three levels, even when Brett Rippon's going in there trying to rip passes over the middle of the field. There are guys making plays. So it has been a competitive camp, and I see Hoge is getting the thumbs up on his end over there. I don't know. I think you being like this is almost signaling, like, you'll watch the replay. There's a little thumbs up thing that just popped up on you. So now, of course, it's not doing it when you have a thumbs up. Weird.
There it is. I wasn't even meaning to do it. I was trying to find an old Greg Rags Jr. tweet I want to highlight.
Oh boy.
I thought you were scratching your neck.
But I'm going to find it, and we're going to discuss here momentarily, maybe. Real quick, though, in the 2-minute, completion of Roma Dunze, incomplete the Roma Dunze, false start. There were a couple false starts in there today, which we have been talking about, not really been an issue. There was an issue a couple times today. And then there was basically what was an interception thrown to Kevin Byard, but Byard was out of bounds catching it. And what annoyed me about that play was not the throw by Caleb. It was that he was trying to get anybody, literally anybody, to come back to the ball in the scramble drill, and nobody did. And so now at that point, you should just throw it out of bounds, which he sort of technically did, but you can do better than he did. He still seemed to be forcing the ball in there, and it just happened to be that Kevin Byard caught it right along the lines. I heard someone on the sideline say that Kevin Byard needs bigger shoes. Which kind of confused me.
Would that make it easier for him to go out of bounds? Or
I still think he would be out of bounds, though, even if the shoes were bigger.
Yeah.
Like maybe the heel would still be in, but you'd still be out. So that one didn't really make sense to me. But I think here's the silver lining. We're a weekend in camp, and this is really the first day that we're doubting the offense at all, or even being like critical of it. They're coming off a day off too, which I think if you read between the lines of what Flus was talking about early on in his press conference, I'm not sure he was totally thrilled with how everyone came back this morning. And he said he challenged those guys. Were like, if you feel like you didn't come back where you wanted to be, well, next time you have an off day, like, think about what you're doing, think about what you're eating, think about what your sleeping habits are, like whatever they are, so that you come back ready to go. So I don't think it's the end of the world. But it was interesting on what was a beautiful Thursday morning. It was not hot. It was nice out. That I don't know if it was the best practice by the offense so far.
I've been sort of, I don't know, maybe it's just Bears fan, been doing this for a long time, itis, but I've just sort of stayed level on they look good here, they don't look great there. They look good here, they don't look great there. That looks phenomenal, that ain't great. I think for me that's kind of how it's been, and it's impossible to really know where they're at until the pads are there, and even then, but we'll start to get a better idea tomorrow, so that's exciting. Look, and the Byard thing, just to wrap that part up, he was out of bounds by like 5 feet, so yeah. I did not really count that as a negative. I thought that Caleb was basically throwing that ball away.
Just and continuing to run through some of the notes I had today. So Tyreek Stevenson was asked about returning punts, which we've seen him do, and he jumped all over that question and was like, yeah, definitely want to be doing that. He said, definitely just want to be back there. If my number is ever called, just know I'm going to house one. He also realistically mentioned, like, I know I'm behind some other guys. And I got to be quite honest, because you know me, I'm paying attention to the punt return drills. We've seen a couple drops from him, not clean catches. So I don't necessarily think Tyreek Stevenson returning punts is happening anytime in the future. I love that he's hungry to do it. It still bothers me they never let Eddie Jackson do it before he got out of here, because he always wanted to do it, and he was a great returner when he got the opportunity to do that back in college. And he was always good returning interceptions. So I'm thinking Tyreek Stevenson, that work you get, like, let's channel that energy into when you catch the interceptions, then you return them for touchdowns. That's like a punt return too.
Yeah, I think that would be best for Stevenson, because it's not just this practice, Hoge. Like, I've had Stevenson with a couple of drops with punts. It's just, I don't know, like, it's tough, man. Like, it really is, like, looking at the football like that. But I'm glad that he has that energy, though. He has a very I don't know, just hopeful energy that maybe one day he could be a punt returner.
I mean, whoever asked that question, that was a brilliant job by that person. Congratulations, me. Really just moving the needle here in press conferences lately. I asked it though because Kyler Gordon said the other day, like, because I think I asked him about what do you think about Tyreek? There's he's hungry. He really wants it. So I wanted to see him speak to it. And then just in general, listening to Tyreek today, did you guys not get the feeling that this guy in 1 year's time has gone from rookie to at least young vet? Like his presence is different. This guy feels way more grounded and has been here and done that versus, rookie last year, kind of just, head spinning. Where am I? I believe in myself, but I don't really know what the hell's going on. It's a different cat up there. This is looking like a better pick by the day for Ryan Poles, excuse me.
Oop,
Yeah,
that's
that's
a fine. That's a fine right there. That
Agreed.
was bad.
Yeah, agreed. Huge fine. But answer my question. Do you not agree?
I don't know.
I got thrown off. Sorry.
Come on.
Yeah.
No. He did say though, like, I mean, he took his punches early on, right? And he said coming from college, being one of the best corners in college football, to then the NFL where he's getting picked on, like, I think it was almost a humbling experience for Tyreek Stevenson that towards the end of the year, you started to see it, right? The production was going in his favor. So yeah, I think he has matured over the season and then off season right now.
Thank you, Nick. Need to remind you, Hoge, last year at this time, Chase Claypool was throwing him to the ground, and he was getting and Tyreek was getting attention from one of the Bears coaches, telling him just leave it alone. That guy's a complete idiot. Don't worry, we're going to cut him and get a 6th round pick for a 7th round pick in a swap or something like that. He'll be out of here. Just stay cool. You're all right.
Yeah, well, and that's where I what I find interesting about the Tyreek Stevenson conversation here is something Matt Eberflus said actually today when he was asked about Tyreek Stevenson, because in talking about his development, because he brought up that like the college game is really good these days, but you're dealing with guys that are transferring all the time. They're in and out of programs, and he mentioned how people, and I'm assuming he's referring to coaches at the college level, are worried about how they're coaching guys because they might transfer, right? Like you piss a player off. Like no longer can you be like, I'm going to ride this guy's ass as a freshman because, he's going to be here and it's going to pay off in the long term. You do that now, these guys are out the door 5 seconds later. So there's a different way of coaching going on at the college level. And Flus said, we're seeing a little bit where the development piece, when we get our hands on them, is going to be more and more important. That's a nice way of saying we got to do more development with some of these guys when they get to the NFL level. We have to be great teachers, great developers to really enhance that skill set that we get from the college game. That's what we did with Tyreek. Tyreek came in, his skill set was pretty good. He's had some good coaching, but we really worked on him. He worked at it, and his development was just like this, going upward. Remember, Tyreek Stevenson started at his college career at Georgia. He talked about all this stuff when he got drafted about how, there's a disagreement about where he was playing, what position he wanted to be at, and he transferred to Miami. So he had some ups and downs in college, and I think clearly what Flus is saying in the context of Tyreek Stevenson, they felt like there's a lot to work with here, but there's a lot that we have to do to develop him, and it seems like it's come on at a pretty good pace.
Well, and to your point, it's also like these guys want opportunity. Tyreek started 4 games for Georgia in his first 2 years. Like, am I going to play or am I not going to play? Maybe they were like, you ain't ready yet, buddy. But, Miami was saw the talent, and so did the Bears.
So earlier I mentioned I was trying to find a tweet of our guy, Greg Braggs Jr., star of the Adam Rank podcast, the Sick podcast. I don't know if you guys saw him on that, because he is a star. And Bragg said, Hoge trying to find one of my tweets on a timeline is like finding a needle in a haystack. And he's right about that. I was trying to scroll through. There was like a novel in there on one tweet. I'm going to have to go back and read that one because I missed it. But I did find what I was talking about, which was he said maybe Caleb could have led. This goes back to the play from the end of practice Tuesday, 4th down, right at the end of practice, where Caleb put the ball up for Cole Kmet and Tremaine Edmonds was credited with the PBU. And Greg Bragg is going back to the video here. He's trying to break it down with screenshots. And he says, maybe Caleb could have led Kmet. Hard to tell on the angle what was the underneath coverage. But the defender, Edmonds, with his back turned towards the QB over the shoulder of the linebacker on the money. Dot. Greg, the ball hit Edmonds in the back, and it should have been 3 feet higher in the air. It was not a dot. Defense won the day. I'd also like to point out, though, that tweet was sent out at 3:51 in the morning. So I have questions.
Jesus Christ.
Look, let Braggs think it was a dot. You don't need to rain on his dot parade at
3:51 in the morning.
53 in the afternoon when Braggs is clearly up with life issues, not credentialed to training camp issues or whatever's going on over there. You let Gregory Braggs think that was a dot, Hoge. Dot.
Okay. I apologize. It was a dot.
Guys.
Hit Edmonds right in the middle of the 4 and the 9 on the back.
Rex is a dot jackass.
Well, honestly, actually think more about it. This is odd, Braggs. If he really cared, he would walk the Metro train tracks and find his way through a tree and a bush and get his binoculars out. Don't care. He'd have his mom get him there, but Braggs will be back tomorrow, and so he'll see all his dots and non-dots. Dot Braggs.
Dippin' Dots. I love Dippin' Dots.
I don't get people who do Dippin' Dots. Just get ice cream.
The ice cream of the future. That's what they used to advertise at Six Flags. I ate that shit up. Like, they got me right when I saw them every single time.
I remember when it first came out, it was cool. And then I'm like, now I take James to games, and I'm like, you really want that? Well, we can go find the stand that has the real ice cream, and it's so much better.
No, it is better. No doubt. Right. But I used to.
I don't know. Also, if Dippin' Dots wants to support this program, we are thumbs up, ready to go.
Let's go.
One more on Gregory, by the way. The way that he is broken down, the one tweet that he had about Caleb climbing the pocket. Shout out to Braggs. I did not, and I think Hoge, you had some tweet along the same lines. I did not see that as beautifully as it actually was until Gregory pointed it out. So Bragg's analysis made my life better. So shout out to our guy.
No, and the real reason I wanted to bring that up was because I am looking forward to Braggs being there tomorrow with his own eyes on the play. I think if he had been there in person, he would have seen that ball probably should have been a little bit higher. I wanted the second it was thrown, I was like, Cole, come at 6'6", get it high up in the air. And he would have caught it, would have had a chance. He had no realistic chance to catch that ball. And so Greg will be there tomorrow. He'll be on the show tomorrow. We're looking forward to it. And we'll have the full crew with all the fans in the stands. It'll feel like training camp. Pads on. It'll be a great day. Looking forward to that. Some other things that sorry, Carm, you have something else?
I was just thinking about after will Greg be going to your house or mine, Hoge? Let's do that. Let's do it.
I don't know. I think should we flip a coin?
I mean, I full on want him to come, but I'm planning on putting him in the yard where he was last night.
Well, I'll actually be coming too tomorrow, guys. So you're gonna have to find a spot to put me as well.
Oh, great
party!
Well,
yeah.
Well, you're both welcome. But maybe you want to go to Hoge's.
Brad clearly has his preference here. Hoge has the bar in his basement.
That's a good, excellent point for you, buddy.
There is a bar. Actually, I just got some new bourbon yesterday too to put in that bar. It's in there.
So we're all going to Hoge's. Is that that's what's happening now?
I mean, that's how we did training camp last year. Maybe we need you guys bring all the equipment. We're ready to go. Somewhere, I know Jonathan Owens is not coming to my house because he's going to Paris. And I feel like we're not talking about this enough. His wife is Simone freaking Biles. And it was like, even him talking about it today, it was like he was talking about it like that to himself. He's like, my wife is the coolest person in the world. Like, I get to say that. He said, I just think about how did I get so lucky? Someone that's literally at the pinnacle of their sport, and I get to call this my wife. that's amazing. Like, good for him.
Yeah, for real. I don't think any man has ever said something that nice about their wife ever. That is appreciation of wife.
Now, hang on, I take exception to that because while I've been at camp all week, my awesome wife has been trying to potty train my 3-year-old. So I've been throwing some reinforcing confident. Yeah. It's the same thing.
Your relationship is so beautiful, and your words are great too. But I'm sorry, Jonathan Owens on another level. That is love right there. That is appreciation. That is respect. Nick, with your future to be, you got something to shoot for. I seriously, it was just to see he didn't hide his joy around it, which I thought was it was very nice.
Yeah, actually, he mentioned that I think he's in the Netflix documentary that I think's out right now, Simone Biles Rising. So if you want to see some more Jonathan Owens, he's in there.
When did that come out? Because I didn't.
It's been out for it's out at least a week on Netflix. At least okay. I keep on, wanting to watch it, but
we went from nothing to watch to way too much. I got Hard Knocks. I got.
Did you watch the
Receiver show? I've been trying to watch the Receiver show, which Receiver is fine. It's not nearly as good as the Quarterback show a year ago on Netflix, but I've been trying to get through that.
Kevin Fishbane, Dion Miller, and someone we're talking. Is anybody familiar with Love Island?
No. That sounds like the most Kevin Fishbane show I've ever heard of, though.
It's it's the most trashy reality TV. Maybe it's on Peacock if you want to check it out. Love Island.
Haven't seen that. I would not lower myself to such levels as those individuals watching that level of reality TV. I watch 60 Minutes, damn it.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. Says the person who showed me that one show on HBO. That reality show that we're not going to talk about.
That was a good
exactly
one.
What you're talking about.
Yes.
It was the most horrifying experience of my life.
That's what I learned. That's what I learned, that Hoge is a prude. If you just ever wanted to know. Hashtag Hoge prude. That's fine. Crystal wants bourbon too. Everybody wants to come over to Hoge's for a party, buddy.
Yeah, I'm hiding all the bourbon if Braggs is really coming here tomorrow. That is going to be so hidden. I'm going to bury it in the ground so he can't find it, is my takeaway from that whole thing. Hey, so news and notes on all this stuff. First of all, we have a line from our friends at Circa on the Hall of Fame game. So Carm asking about whether or not the quarterback's going to play. Circa says the Bears are a 1.5-point favorite in the Hall of Fame game. A week from today, guys, we're a week away from an actual preseason football game being played. The Bears are 1.5-point favorites over the Texans, according to Circa. The over-under set at 33. And if you just want to bet the money line, the Bears are minus 123.
Low hold model, best lines of the business. Give shout out to our friends at Circa. I'm taking the Bears, baby.
You're going Bears? I'm not picking preseason games. Sorry. But we are going to tell you. We are going to tell you the lines in case you want to do it, because Circa's awesome and they're got you covered. A lot of questions about Yannick Ngakoue. Maybe, the stuff we saw from Jacob Martin so far in camp and the interview with Nick is part of the reason why, the Bears aren't banging down the door of Yannick Ngakoue to bring him back. He is visiting the Panthers right now. I think he might literally be in Carolina, visiting the Carolina Panthers. So something to keep an eye on there, because he could potentially come off the market. And did you guys see the news out of Pittsburgh today?
Not only did I see it, I watched. Did you see the video out of Pittsburgh today?
I saw that the Pat McAfee show was making a big deal out of that video too. But the news was apparently Russell Wilson woke up with a calf injury. I don't know what he was doing in his sleep to wake up with a calf injury, but he did not practice today. And that meant with Russell out, Justin Fields, QB1 today. And apparently I don't who did he throw that pass to? I forget, but there's a video of him throwing an absolute bomb down the field, down the left sideline, and it's thrown in stride. Great throw, catch, touchdown. Steelers.
It's the throw that made him a first-round draft pick. It's the throw that made Bears fans not want to give him up. It's, then Justin can throw the deep ball. There's no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, and he apparently got a text at 6 a.m. that he was going to be taking first team reps, which they asked him if he felt like he was getting punked when he got that text. He's like, no, they wouldn't do that to me with that type of thing right now. So I think he's been obviously waiting for an opportunity to get out there, and here it was for him. There was also a video that I saw as I went down to Justin Fields' deep dive today of him going up to Steelers fans, signing autographs, and just a huge conglomerate of fans wanting to get their Fields autograph. So, I think every Bears fan out there is, whatever your opinion was a year ago at this time, I think everyone's still rooting for Justin to do well. A, would help the Bears get a 4th-round pick. B, more importantly, Justin was just a great guy when he was here, period, end of story. But he had a good, Justin Fields had a good day today.
Took advantage of his opportunity. Good for him.
Yep.
And that was I was just double checking. That was their first practice today. So that's a hell of a way for training camp to start for that quarterback situation, which we're obviously going to keep an eye on because it affects the Bears draft pick next year.
Mm-hmm.
If Justin Fields plays more 51% of the snaps, the Bears will have a 4th rounder instead of a 6th rounder. So that was just a very notable, one of the bigger storylines around the NFL today involving Justin Fields. All right. I think we should get to super chats. Any shout outs we might have? Patrick Simmons jumping in with $10. He says, I'm late to the show, but from everything I've heard, Trevon Dexter's lean, fast, and practicing at edge. So I was right. Love it.
Not practice. I wouldn't say practicing at the edge. He tested with the edges. He's still on the inside, but he's lean and fast for sure.
Guessing there I don't know if that's a joke or something, but yeah, just so everybody's clear. He ran with the defensive ends in the conditioning test, and sometimes in sub packages when they move Montez Sweat around or something like that, Dexter might be technically on the outside of the line, but he is not a defensive end. He is the Bears 3 technique, and he's a very important piece of the defense and needs to develop there. Seth Crane, $5. Since we don't know what good quarterback play looks like, can you explain how Fields might have performed today? Basically, in this, he says, I understand if this is basically impossible. If we could imagine how Justin Fields would have performed in the same exact practice,
it's a hard exercise. Since we don't know what good QB play looks like, I assume that you're saying that just as Bears fans, we haven't had any good quarterbacks. Can you explain how Fields might have performed today? I understand it's basically impossible. Listen, there's just a certain level of Caleb, the way he triggers the ball out, and it's like a separation factor between Justin. But listen, if Justin was here in his 4th year, sorry, Hoge, I would think he'd be having a very good training camp.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, look, in general, I don't know there would be a huge difference in terms of the offense. I mean, the offense didn't have the best day today, so I'm not sure there would have been a huge difference, better or worse. There are certain plays, though, to answer that question where it's more so, in the more specific nuances of some plays where you're like, Justin would not have done that, or Justin would have done this, because I think on both sides of that, look, there was that silhouette of Caleb Williams that we're all getting used to, where he's running against the grain to his left, and he's able to contort his body and do this while jumping in the air. He had another one of those throws today. I think it was to Keenan Allen along the far sideline. And it's not like it's a deep pass. It's like 10 yards maybe, but that's not a Justin Fields play. He could sort of turn and do a sidearm snap, something like that, but the accuracy in which Caleb Williams does it and the way he contorts his body up in the air, I don't know how he does it consistently. It's definitely one of the weapons in his arsenal, and it's very, very impressive. And that's not what I would say about Justin in that moment. However, there's certain other plays, like perhaps the interception I brought up with Kevin Byard, where he was out of bounds, like Justin probably would have tucked that and ran with it because nobody was turning around. And that's both a good and a bad thing because, one, he probably would have picked up more yards in that situation because that is definitely one of Justin's strengths. On the downside, I like that Caleb was trying to get somebody to come back to the ball, and he still had his eyes downfield trying to throw it because sometimes Justin would tuck it too early instead of letting the play out. So those are some of the nuances. I think like going beyond that is tough. You know, off the top of my head, that throw we were talking about with Velus in the back corner of the end zone, it would be easy for me to be like, Caleb makes that throw more accurately than Justin. Then again, which game was it late in the season? Was it the Falcons game where he had
Atlanta.
like almost that exact same play across the back and he put it right on the money in the back corner in the end zone? So
to commit,
it's a tough exercise, and it's as much time as I just spent answering it. I don't know that's worth doing, you know, at least consistently every day.
Real quick, I think the pocket presence. There's plays where you see Caleb kind of just holding the ball, feeling comfortable, at least feeling it out until he has to get outside. That's seen between like a Justin and a Caleb so far in these couple training camp practices.
For the fans that are coming out tomorrow for the first time, I don't think anybody's going to be going home wishing, oh man, I wish we had Justin here and not 18. I don't think you're going to walk out with that take. I'd be very surprised.
And yes, to your point, Nick, that play that Carm gave Rags credit for breaking down so eloquently, where he steps up in the pocket, that would be one of the prime examples of that's what Caleb does differently to a very high level. Kevin jumping in here, $4.99. Oh no, the defense had a good day. Caleb is our savior. Who cares? Fair enough.
Okay.
Rags in the stands, $2. Where the F is the Duke? Guy needs to wake up.
Duke's biding his time. He's biding his time. I respect the way the Duke goes about his business. We miss the Duke. There's no doubt about that. He's not a dope. He is the Duke, and we know that he'll be back. And if he doesn't come back, I will. I'll go to wherever he's at and find him and make him come back because I can't live without the Duke.
I think we're going to get our first $100 super chat from the Duke a week from today, post game. Bears, Texans. It's my prediction.
Good prediction.
It's Dukish. Very Dukish.
It's Dukish.
Dukish.
Farming Bear 1999. Do you think this camp has a better feel than last year's? Hoping for a faster start.
Yes, I hated last year's camp. I was nauseous at it. I was walking around to anybody who would listen. I'm like, what do you think? 3 wins, 6 wins? This team looks terrible. They were bad. And they were doing these like half a mile an hour drills that were driving me nuts. Last year's camp was alarmingly bad. And we had to like be nice about it because there was, I don't know if you guys remember, there was a lot of emotional people about the quarterback last year. And if you said anything negative, it was going to be coming back at you 1,000 miles an hour. So, but it did not look good last year. It didn't.
That being said, how many wins did you predict today for the Bears when we were having our little podcast in the upper corner of the bleachers?
I mean, I had a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek Hoge, but I think I did say the word 6. Because there's moments where they look 6-11. There's other moments where they look 11-6, which is why I'm probably going to land 8 or 9. You know, as much as Nick Wright and riding around in New York with him on my way to being a U.S. Open ball boy, which, by the way, we're going to get an update from U.S. Open ball boy president on Saturday on the show. Neil will be with us, so I haven't been sleeping at night, and I don't think I'll sleep the next 2 nights once we get my full review on the Saturday show. But Nick thinks they're going to the Super Bowl. He's flirting with picking it. Unless things start to change dramatically, I don't see that quite yet this year. I'm not saying they're not headed towards it sooner than later, hopefully.
Well, we got more time to figure that all out, but you don't have time to become U.S. Open ball boy. I just want to know if that was a real tryout or not. I don't know.
Listen, it wasn't technically a real tryout, but I did everything I could to turn it into a real tryout. and I am continuing to try and turn it into a real tryout. And if it wasn't, and if I don't get there this year, I am going to demand that I am already have a spot locked in, 300 and however many days from now when they have tryouts next year, that I can prove my mettle under the biggest lights, that I can do what Billy and Susie and Cooper and all the 16-year-old ball boys can do at the tender age of 51. I'm not giving up my dream. I don't know what you guys, I mean, if Hoge can coach special teams and Nick can look like he belongs on, a reality show with all the good-looking, then I can still try to be a U.S. Open ball boy. Damn it.
So does this mean no more tennis? Or are you going to give up playing tennis to kind of pursue the ball boy stuff? Because you can't play tennis and do the ball boy at the same time. You have to pick and choose here.
That's what you think, buddy. I'm never giving up tennis. And I look forward to, I don't know if I can find somebody who will play with me today. I'm going to go play. So, yeah.
Blank name says, Carm, we saw the video of you booting the ball. You should be demanding nothing. Ha ha. And I just want to point out, in the history of uh-ohs that have been uttered in this fine earth, Nick Wright saying uh-oh when you booted that ball was top 5 funniest things I've ever seen. Well, I kept rewinding it over and over again just to hear the uh-oh.
Well, just for the record, Nick had 3 cameramen following around, and there's going to be a piece coming out on Sunday. I'm sure I'll have my cameos in there, but this is, for Nick's show. I'm looking forward to watching it, even though it's going to look like I'm Nick's intern. That's fine.
You are Nick's intern.
Settle down. But I asked one of Nick, whoever was with Nick, I'm like, will you just take a couple videos of me? Because I didn't have anybody with me and I could selfie myself out there. And she basically took videos of Nick. And then the one that she got, the 28 seconds, was of me looking horrible. So I'm sitting there like debating in the airport on the way. I'm like, do I put this out here? Because this is really the only video that I have of the whole damn thing. And it's going to make me look horrible. But so just know that if there was full coverage of my performance, you would have seen some amazing ball boy, the rolling and my speed. You'll hear from Neil when he comes on here on Saturday that I did some good things out there. Also, at least I expect Neil he's going to have to say some good things. My effort was supreme.
From a content perspective, that was the right video to put out. So thank you. You did a good job.
Yeah, no problem. I figured I knew. I'm like, people are gonna love this. I love this. This doofus. Look at him. Ball rolling to him. Can't even pick it up. I said it to my brothers, they were trying to miss. Good recovery. I'm like, no, don't. That's such a low bar. Come on.
I love the guys you're not supposed to have 2 tennis balls in your hand. You're like, shit.
Throw some.
Well, then I did the underhand, and which they showing me that you got to throw it
like that.
And then did you notice the slump that I did at the very end of it? That's my favorite part of it. I'm so defeated. I'm so defeated from that 28 seconds.
You're like, I just lost it. This moment's over.
I did. Well, at the beginning too, which won't surprise you, Hoge, they were like, okay, so you're gonna take this ball, you're gonna drop it here, you're gonna come back, you're gonna pick it back up, you're gonna go down there, you're gonna come back here, you're gonna drop it there. So I thought I had what he wanted done. I completely messed it up, and Nick got it right and won the race. I thought I had it, but I was so nervous and hyped that I just didn't fully listen to exactly what he was saying, and I blew it. And I was like, I literally just got cut in the first 38 seconds. Which another one of the guys is he's like, it's just so funny because these people come out here and they've been training all year, and then the first drill somebody falls, and it's like, well, that's it for you, buddy. So
you're the draft prospect that blows his pro day.
I did. I was climbing uphill instantly, and then I started to get it, and they were stunned, like, oh, that's a good roll. More to come here, buddy. I was rookie year Valus Jones for a minute, and then it
oh no.
All right. No. We're what's the guy's name you say he's coming on Saturday show? We're gonna break it all down.
Neil, U.S. Open ball boy supervisor.
How do you get that gig?
I don't know. It's 3 weeks. He's got a U.S. Open email. He was a former professional soccer player. The guy's ripped. And he, this guy, you'll see, he's focused. Apparently, Neil's got friends from Chicago who love this show because we were talking about this the other day. It made its way to Neil, so he's excited to come on.
That's awesome. All right. Well, we'll bring in Neil. I want to ask him how you get that job. Because, Carm, maybe that's your future gig. Maybe you're the instructor once you master it.
Yeah. Listen, we all know that it's only a matter of time before everybody boots me off this show, and I got to find another place to do it. And if I could be Neil's assistant, I don't know if that's a paid gig or not, but either way, I do it.
Nick's intern, Neil's assistant.
Yeah. I
like that. Okay.
My options, everything's open for me.
Hey, Nick's intern. That doesn't sound like a bad gig, by the way.
Yeah, that'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, no.
Might be better than this one. Quite frankly, I don't know. Nick's living the dream.
Yeah, no, that's true. But he's, we had a lot of downtime during that day, and Nick Wright's choice was to watch 30 minutes of Game of Thrones where everybody's heads were getting lopped off from and I'm like, isn't there literally anything else we could be doing than this? And I'm like, put on The Last Dance.
See, we've seen The Last Dance like 30 times already.
Game of Thrones if you haven't seen Game of Thrones, you can't do 30 minutes of Game of Thrones on a Tuesday pre-ball boy and to get anything out of it. We got to do something that's comfortable.
It's live or die out there, Mark. That's what he's trying to get to you. Get your head chopped off or get the ball boy job. And we know which one happened.
You're also forgetting, Nick, that Carm watches his scene in The Last Dance 5 times every day.
That's true.
When I get off here, I'm going right back to episode, I think it's 5 or 6, and I'm right
know
back
what episode it is. You know what it happens.
With Dre Day, I'm assuming that's how you do that one. $5. If Caleb isn't an instant star like CJ Stroud, will the Bears media go into full attack mode?
They won't, but if he's bad, it'll get ugly. But no one anticipates that happening with Dre Day. And we take offense to that with Dre Day full attack mode. We are objection. Yeah, go ahead.
He wants you to take offense to it, so don't do that.
Okay, I fell for it. I will defend our media's honor. I know that I know that everybody wants to be out there and they just want to hate the media. It's the number one thing to do for the last 10 years. I got it. We're the enemy.
All right. Well, we're going to be back tomorrow. Pads go on. I'm not going to be able to sleep. I'm going to be tweeting at 3:51 a.m. about practice. And Braggs is going to be there tomorrow too. Can't wait. It's going to be a good day.
His video from the Bears parking lot to get on the bus will be at 6:13 a.m. roughly.
I actually do want
hammer for sure. Yeah.
Alarm. Yeah, what time is alarm set for?
Oh, guy's getting up at 4:23. Jordan-esque.
I'm hiding the bourbon. We'll be back tomorrow, 2 p.m. Can't wait. Go sign up to be a diehard. Newsletter coming out tomorrow morning. All CHGO Bears diehards. Get it. AllCHGO.com/diehard is where you go to subscribe. We appreciate that. You also get a free t-shirt, 20% off all merch and events. Tomorrow should be a fun one. Training camp officially underway tomorrow. We like the real version of training camp. We can't wait. We'll talk to you then.
We all silly like the mayor.